Hi friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Monday things. Monday after April Fools. The question tonight, is the Crossfire Newbie Drone Acrobee BLV4 a real thing? Or is it an April Fool's joke gone wrong? Newbie Drone put up a picture on April Fool's Day showing a couple of quads. I should have had this ready, but you know, why get anything ready when you can do it on the fly? They put up this picture on April Fool's Day showing a BLV4 Ghost edition and a Crossfire edition, in addition to the Express ELRS edition, in addition to the edition. And they started getting hammered with emails and messages that, you know, like nice April Fool's Day joke and stuff like that. Which is kind of interesting. Apparently people are very savvy as to how difficult it is to get TBS to put Crossfire onto a non-TBS product. I don't know if the same can be said about Immersion RC Ghost, but yeah, I think that's where some of the confusion... Wes, thank you for the subscription, brother. I think that's where some of the confusion came. And so later that day, AJ, thank you as well. Later that day, in the middle of the day, actually, Kelvin starts messaging me like, yo, I need help. I'm like, what? He's like, are you streaming today? I was like, nah, Saturday's family day for me. I'm out all day, all night. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'm overnighting you a package so that you can show people that it's real. And like, we talked about it all, and he's like, I'm overnighting you one. I'm like, okay, cool. So there's a box here from Newbie Drone, which apparently has a Crossfire BLV4 in it. So we're going to open this box up tonight and see if it'll bind to Crossfire. So, I mean, you already have your answer to the question. But, you know, let's make sure it binds. TBS makes it very difficult to, they don't release their stuff. Like, unless they make it in-house, they don't put Crossfire on anything. Man, I had heard rumors of a Crossfire Acro Bee 2 years ago, and I was really excited. And it's one of the reasons, if you guys remember, you OG folks, it's one of the reasons that I did not switch over to ELRS right away. Because to me, ELRS is really just for tiny whoops. I'm pretty happy with Crossfire. Although, by the way, I've got like spray paint and shit all over my hands. That's so I don't have like herpes or anything like that I know of. And so yeah, I was holding off, but then eventually I got frustrated holding off, and I did, and I went ELRS, and I'm happy I did, because there are definitely some advantages to Express LRS. To the point where I'm actually gonna start dual wiring a bunch of my working rigs with Crossfire and Express LRS, because Crossfire has a really hard time with cell phone towers, and I've had a number of fail-safes due to that with Crossfire, and there are just certain conditions where there's more certain areas where there's more garbage on the 900 megahertz spectrum than 2.4. So yeah, it's a fairly easy thing to do, right? Like, as long as you have an extra UART and the pads, you can just bury a little Crossfire receiver. I'm sorry, a little ELRS receiver in your build, and God forbid you're having weird issues going on with Crossfire. You hook up to it via SpeedyBee or a laptop or anything really, and just swap the port. Just switch the port over from, UART 1 where Crossfire is to UART 3 where ELRS is, and away you go. You're back in business. So yeah, I'm gonna do that with a couple of rigs. I was so as an example, the Criterium Cup race, cycling race in Salt Lake City last year, that they hired me for, I was getting Crossfire failsafes at like, I don't know, 600 feet. DJI was also going crazy, and locking up at like 300 feet in this one spot. So it was like a really weird. There were high tension power lines like right next to us, and we were in like this weird industrial part of the city. So like, and like everybody else was having trouble. All the static cameras were having issues. So it was just an extremely noisy spot. And, you know, with DJI having issues, I probably couldn't have gone any farther than where Crossfire was fail-safing anyway. But in that scenario, it would have been awesome to have had Express LRS receivers on those rigs so that I could have at least swapped it over and then flown to the limit of DJI rather than flying to the limit of Crossfire. So yeah, kind of no reason not to do it, right? An Express LRS receiver is very inexpensive and very lightweight, and yeah, just throw it in there, and away you go. So yeah, but there are always going to be things, you know, there are always going to be situations where one is a little bit better than the other. Crossfire is always going to win when it comes to just all-out range because just the 900 megahertz wavelength is better for that. And there are situations where there's going to be a lot of 2.4 gig interference. And then, you know, the opposite is true. ELRS, potentially, depending on your situation, could have less garbage, less noise. And ELRS still has great range, as Wesley Vardy has proven. So, yeah, I mean, none of us are really going to push range far enough to where Crossfire, is better, but I have still seen, and I've not run, in fairness, I've not run a fully optimized ELRS setup yet, but in the limited amount of testing that I've done, Crossfire will bounce more than Express LRS. And so, yeah, I would prefer that, right? If I'm in a situation where there is ELRS 900, but there's very little support for it. There's very little hardware for it. I will jump onto the ELRS 900 bandwagon when there is. When they give a little bit more love to it, when there's more components for it. And also when there's a dual band module. I refuse to buy an Express LRS module until they make one that has both 2.4 and 900. Because what the fuck? Why hasn't that already been done? Why hasn't that been done since day one? So yeah, the second that there's a dual band receiver and module rather, and I think there probably are. I haven't really looked, but I think there probably are some decent 900 ELRS 900 receivers out there. So that's probably already good. But I'm not buying a separate 900 Express LRS module. That's just stupid. So yeah. And plus, you know, I've got everything on Crossfire anyway, and it would be like, it would take a lot of time to switch it over. So it's, yeah. Last I checked, all of the top pro pilots are still flying Crossfire as well. And yeah, a lot of them are doing it for a lot of the same reasons that I am, right? They've got 20, 30, 40 rigs with it on there, and it works completely fine, 99.9% of the time. So yeah, I don't know, but that's what's going on. Hey, I blew up a Vista today. I did all this work after the stream yesterday to get the cheater rig going, and then like an asshole, I forgot to use a smoke stopper today when I plugged it in, and out came the smoke. Just in case you were wondering, when manufacturers make, when our quad manufacturers make their little, you know, wire with, I think these are Molex connectors, don't quote me on that, wires with these connectors, you would think that there's some sort of standardization to it, right? Like, hey, guys, we're all going to put ground on the left side of the plug. Cool? There isn't! I had a male and a female, white and black wired, little connector in here. And I took them, and I just didn't think about it. And I wired them up properly, ground to ground, white to live. And as it turns out, in the connector, one of them was one way, and the other one was the other way. So I sent a Vista 4S voltage in the opposite direction that it wanted it. And that blew the Vista up, which is very sad. And oddly enough, on Joshua Bardwell's live stream just now, somebody asked if Vistas can be repaired. And yeah, there's a website, Nerd something or other, that can do it. Cyclone FPV also apparently does it. So yeah, I've actually got a naked Vista that's blown up as well. So now I've got a naked Vista and a full Vista that need repair. So I'll be sending them out, and I'll let you guys know what the turnaround time is, what it costs, all that good stuff. The biggest kick in the nuts about all of this is that I do not have another... So I fly out Thursday to Miami Beach for this cycling race, Criterium cycling race. And I do not have another fully heat-shielded Vista. I mean, I have, like, I could, like, cannibalize... I could cannibalize one, or this one, or that one, and take it out of there, but that's kind of silly. Luckily, I do have an extra naked Vista here that McConnell Studios very kindly sent me a while ago. So I think I'm just going to use this. The cheater rig is not going to get used a ton at this event. So yeah, it's kind of fun. So yeah, that was super annoying. Shout out to Brandon's Baked Beans for helping me out a whole bunch today. Tune the main rig that I'm going to be using at this gig, which is a QAV Pro. I don't know. I can't keep track of the different QAV rigs, but 2.5-inch propeller, sub 250 all up, carrying a full-size Vista with 1504 motors, Zing 1504s with Gemfan 2540 propellers. Nice little combo. I wish I could run a slightly more pitchy propeller than this, but the Gemfan Cinewhoop tri-blade propeller. So being a pusher, you have to run the prop upside down, and the Gemfan more pitchy propeller, the blade profile sticks up quite a bit above the base of the prop mount on the top, and it won't clear this motor bell here. So these 2540s are the most propeller that I can run, which is kind of fine because this is a pretty aerodynamically shaped propeller here. So in theory, this is going to give me the best possible runtime, and that's kind of what it's all about with this event. It's about staying up in the air for as long as possible and chasing these cyclists up and down the main drag of Miami Beach, actually, from like 8th Avenue to 13th, I believe it is. So yeah, these events are interesting. Events where you're live streaming and chasing, you are just like limping around, because the more you limp around, the better battery life you're going to get, and the better battery life, the longer you can stay up in the air to offer the director more shots. So yeah, it's a very different style of flying, but it's really, really fun. It's a really interesting, different kind of challenge, and yeah, I love it. So again, shout out to Brandon for helping me out. Brandon, you've got one more log of those last set of changes. No rush. Thank you again. Super, super, super kind of you. If you guys need help with tuning, Brandon is a genius, and he uses black box, unlike me. And he only charges $1 a minute. He's got a FPV exchange store. Hit him up over on my Discord. His name over there is Brandon's Baked Beans. And yeah, book him for tuning. He is amazing at it, and he'll get your shit flying really, really good. Brandon, do me a favor and drop your FPV Exchange link in the chat. In the chat, Titan was first, Punani was next, Chicken FPV, Hush LOS, Metal Dirt Skin, Marshmallow Hunters, AJ, Glenn Burnett, I'm just gonna call him Mal, Robbie, Brandon's Baked Beans, AJ, Mavhu, Ed K, Ed Burnett, Glenn Burnett rather, Ed Burnett, Scott Marshall, Denzel the Terrible, Aaron Mueller, Not of This World, Face Gator, Technique, Lauren Walters, KJ661, Left Step, Binks, Off Axis FPV, Eric Moe. I'm gonna leave it there. If you want the gangliest of gangly ganglies to read your name, you got to come into chat early, and you got to say something. You don't have to say anything in particular. Just say something. If you want me to read your chat comment from now on, you got to type CiottiFPV. You can put an @ but you don't have to. When you type CiottiFPV and you spell it right, it lights up an orange, and I know you're talking to me, and I read that comment and reply to it. That's how it works. This is my full-time job. If you want to see these live streams continue, I need your help. I'm completely crowdfunded from you beautiful people. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Click this button for Patreon. It helps me out the absolute most. A bunch of people have jumped off of the Patreon lately. If you have, can you let me know why? Yeah, I want to know. I want to know what I can do better. To offer you guys and gals more of what you want, because that's my job. So yeah, if you're not happy with the Patreon page, let me know. If you have a couple of extra bucks a month, I would love for you to hop on. You get access to a playlist on YouTube with almost 90 unlisted, sketchy edits, half-done edits, sketchy flying rather, half-done edits, all kinds of good stuff on there. Patreon-only live streams. On Patreon itself, I've got a bunch of tech articles. Up on the top, you click Tech Talk, and that's going to just show the tech articles that I've written. Stuff like the easy way to tune both your PIDs and your filters, how to troubleshoot video noise, bunch of really cool stuff. You're going to get access to a couple of Facebook groups, one for selling your stuff, another for just kind of hanging out. And access to my Discord, which has all of these beautiful people that are hanging out in chat. And on the Discord, as a patron, you're going to get full access, and that'll give you the opportunity to rent out every stick end that exists to try them for yourself to see which ones you actually like, instead of spending 30 bucks on each one of them and not liking them. And a bunch of other stuff. It's all kinds of good stuff that's going on over there. Shirt of the day is actually not available, but there are going to be some new shirt designs coming to Teespring. Shout out to CMYK for helping me out with that. So keep your eyes peeled there. Speaking of Teespring, here's the button. There's already a bunch of designs up there. Treat yourself. Over on Fiverr, you can work one-on-one with me. I can help you out flying better with some flight instruction through the simulator. I can help you tune your rigs more and learn how to tune, not with black box, but with audible tuning and just simple kind of stuff. And then build planning. Stop buying ESCs that catch on fire. Take the $80 or $90 or $100 that you would have wasted on a flaming ESC and give it to me, and I'll tell you all of the parts and pieces that I've found over the last 6+ years that don't catch on fire and also perform really well. I got a whole big list of questions that I ask you to dial in on exactly what frame, motors, propellers, battery, ESC, flight controller are going to be perfect for your specific scenario. And then, yeah, hook you up with those. The whole point of building a custom rig is that it works good. It works as good as possible for you, right? Otherwise, just buy a bind and fly. So yeah, if you're going to be custom building, which if you're here, you probably are, make sure that you're doing that properly and using the right parts and pieces that are best suited for you. How you crash, where you crash, how often you crash, where do you fly, what are you doing with your footage, all kinds of good stuff. I got a big list of questions I ask you to get dialed in on that. And then, yeah, I suggest a bunch of components that are going to be best tailored to your specific needs. PayPal for if you want to do a super chat to support me directly, but you don't want YouTube or Google to take 30%, hit the PayPal button, and then in the chat, type CiottiFPV, check your PayPal, because I want to always give you guys shout outs. And then look at all these affiliate links, yo. If you're doing an order on the internet, use someone's affiliate link, even if it's not mine, because it's free money and it helps them keep creating content that you can then watch on YouTube for free. I have affiliate links. You have to hit the affiliate link before you check out. Once you check out, it wipes it. So if you hit all of my affiliate links today, it'll get put into your shopping cart on every single website that you see here. And then eventually when you check out, I'll get a percentage of the order. The safest thing to do is just like replace your bookmarks with someone's affiliate links. Or if you use auto suggest like I do, like if I want to go to Amazon, I just go to the URL bar and type in AMA. Well, the first result for me is my own affiliate link, but if it wasn't, if the first result was just Amazon.com, there's a little X over here. If you click the X, as it says there, it'll remove the suggestion. So you can go in and remove the just regular old Amazon.com suggestion and then just hit my affiliate link a bunch of times, and it will it'll replace the top suggestion with my affiliate link, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, hitting all those affiliate links. I have links to We Bleed FPV, Newbie Drone, FPV Cycle, Amazon, Get FPV, Oh My God, HD0, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, AliExpress. And then down the bottom, there's a bunch of other fun stuff that'll probably make you laugh. Or you'll learn something from. So, yeah, there's that. Guess what time it is? Wait, no, let me get caught up on chat real quick. Danzilla Terrible says, what's up? Hush says, hi all. Marcel Off Axis says, weird, I can only tag CiottiFPV. 661 says, the real question is, why don't they sell a 27,000 kV ELRS version, only 27,000 Crossfire and Ghost version, or is that coming? It has to be, I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I assume that it is coming. Not of This World says they sent out emails too. I didn't see that, but it doesn't surprise me. Mutterditzen says, does the box also contain a fax machine and a steam-powered car? We'll take a look. We'll see. FaceGator says, I live in Miami, and the signals are horrible. I really am considering switching. Thanks for the insight. You're certainly welcome, FaceGator. FaceGator, any chance that you can... I have not had time to get Express LRS receivers soldered up to these rigs, and I don't really know if I have enough time to do that. I'm on a super time crunch before I fly out on Thursday. Any chance you're near Miami Beach and can go send a Crossfire rig? Can you stand on 11th on the? So we're flying up and down the main road on the off the beach, and I'm going to be standing on 11th Street, and then our flight path is from like 9th to 13th. Any chance you were planning on going and doing that flight path in the next 2 days? That's asking an awful lot. So if you're not like going into Miami Beach, don't. But yeah, if it's like 5 minutes away or something like that, that would be interesting. Because now you got me weirded out since you said I live in Miami and the signals are horrible. But I did look at Google Street View, and there are no. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to bring an Express LRS receiver, just like absolute worst case scenario. I can solder it up Friday night. So I'm flying out Thursday, and then Friday is a testing day, and then Saturday is the event. So like absolute worst case scenario, I can tear this thing apart, solder up an ELRS receiver. But I mean, our flight path is not long at all, so I can't possibly imagine it. And I won't be up high where the cell tower antennas are. I'll be down low, like at slightly above the cyclist. So I can't possibly imagine that I'll have an issue. Where when I run into every single Crossfire failsafe I've ever had is when, you know, the cell antennas work exactly like our antennas, right? They stand up like this and they radiate a donut, and they're really strong directly out. And then as the angle decreases, they get less and less strong. Every single Crossfire failsafe I've ever had from a cell phone tower, I have flown up to the level of the antenna, and I've gotten like kind of close because I heard about it, and then I wanted to test it, and I've tested it a bunch of times. I've actually never had an accidental Crossfire cell tower failsafe. It's always been like, hey, I'm above grass, and I'm in a recoverable spot. Let me just, the more times you do it, the better of a feel you can get for like how close you can get to the damn things, and that's really valuable info. So, yeah, every time it's happened, I've gotten close. I've gotten closer to it than like you should. Like if you see a cell tower, there's no reason to fly up to the damn thing. So, yeah, the test has always been like, well, let me specifically fly up close to it. So you shouldn't be having, it's not like a big problem. It is a problem, and you have to keep your eye open for the cell towers. Luckily, they look very, they're a very specific big white bean looking bastard. But yeah, I will not be at that level. I will be down nice and low, and they're probably not allowed to put cell towers really low because they probably emit some serious radiation. And plus, putting a cell tower down low doesn't do anything. You want to get it up high so that it can shoot out far. YouTube just did the thing, scrolling back up to try to find my place. Metadirtson says, see Juicy's comment above. Juicy says, I have a Vista without camera if you want it. Hell yeah, man. Juicy, shoot me a message and name your price, and I'll probably buy it off you. Because I actually have a bunch of extra cameras, and yeah, no extra Vistas. Although, does it make sense to buy Vistas anymore, or should we just start buying O3 air units now? Well, I have a bunch of extra cameras, so it does make sense. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question. The O3 air unit will work with the OG goggles. So what's the, other than cost, of course, what is the point now of buying Vistas? I ask you, chat. You've probably got better answers than I do. Juicy, I will still probably buy that off of you because I'm a sucker for a deal. As long as you're willing to make me a good deal, of course. I'm not gonna buy it for $100 or whatever you pay for them at GetFPV. Meccano Studios says hasta la vista, la vista, baby. Brandon Bean says you gotta watch for the O3 versus Vista wiring mix-up. Always check the pinout. In fact, I always direct solder DJI stuff. I've heard about this. I've heard that a bunch of people have blown up O3s because I guess they use the same plug, but the pins are in a different order. Nightmare. FaceGator says, I'm in Miami. Metadirtson says, Juicy, you got to type the whole username for CiottiFPV. See it. Juicy says you can just have it. If I can just have it, for sure. But I'm not just gonna take it, Juicy. I'm gonna. Although actually, Juicy, you've already bought. I believe that's you. That's in my email. You've sent me a couple of PayPals for a .99 mil drill bit and some stickers and whatnot. If you're just going to give me that Vista, I'm just going to fill up an envelope with like all my stickers and anything else that I can kind of think of. Because I got to hook you up in some way. So, yeah, dude, that's amazing. Thank you. Jesus, that's incredible. Huge thank you for that. Metadirtson said, oh no, we got that. There's Juicy. I have a Vista you can just have. Amazing. You guys are the goddamn best. Metadirtson says, if you gave me the slightest excuse, I'd fly down there and tech that race for you. So fed up with my job right now. So, I mean, that would be amazing. I do. There is already somebody that's going to be hanging with me at the tent. Aerobrat. And I'm going to have a PA. I've now told both cycling both cycling organizations that have been hiring me, that I have to have a PA just to manage batteries, and it's nice because the PA can be my visual observer. I'm actually in the middle of some never mind. RDQ is around Orlando. No way. I didn't realize that. Maybe I'll go visit them. I think I have to book a rental. Maybe I'll just do... Rental cars are too expensive. I can't afford that shit. I'll just do Lyft, or whatever the hell the other one is. Is it Lyft? It's not Lyft. I don't know. The application-based taxi company. There we go. Ethan W says, how do you like the Foxeer Starlight camera? It's brilliant, Ethan. The Foxeer Toothless Nano Starlight is, in my opinion, the best all-arounder for analog cameras. It's tiny, it's super light, it's super durable, and it works in both daytime and it works phenomenally well at night. You can get a slightly better night camera, but it's then kind of only a night camera. And that's annoying. Like, the whole, like, oh, I'm going to keep a night camera here, and then I'm going to run a daytime camera, and if I need to fly at night, I'll rip my rig apart and swap the camera out. If you're anything like me, you're not going to do that. You're just not going to fly at night, or you're just going to use the regular daytime camera at night, and you're going to suffer. So I really love the Starlight Toothless Nano, because, yeah, during the day it works perfectly fine as a daylight camera, and it's really low latency. But then when it gets dark, like if there are street lights or anything like that, you are good to go. Like if there's no street lights and you're trying to just run it under moonlight, it's going to struggle. But even the specific nighttime cameras do. There's like, they rate them in like lux, like point, and I think the Toothless is like I think it's 0.001 lux is the rating. The lower the number, the better. And then like the dedicated nighttime cameras that don't really work in daytime, instead of 0.001, they're 0.0001. But yeah, I really like the Starlight. It's just, yeah, it just works really well. The only problem with it is as the sun goes down in the goggles, you won't notice how dark it's getting. And your GoPro, and if you're running a GoPro, it will just start eventually to record blackness. So you got to be careful about that. If you're shooting something that you need the HD footage for. It hasn't burned me on a professional gig yet, but it has certainly burned me just flying around for fun. 661 says you should maybe be running lithium ion packs for those chase flights, 20 minutes versus 4. I don't think the lithium ion packs are light enough. Gotta stay super, super, super lightweight. Although that's an interesting idea. That is a really interesting idea. The only thing that would scare me about that is that the shitty flight performance of those lithium ion packs. If I'm in a situation where I need to like slam on the anchors and get the rig stopped, a LiPo is going to be a lot safer for that. Those lithium ion packs are pretty specific for like long range, just hurling it out into Never Land. But I think the biggest problem would be weight. I think those 18650 batteries are awful heavy. I would only need 4 of them. I would only need 4S. I only run 4S on these, but yeah, I think that battery would be super heavy. I could be wrong though. Wes says RDQ generally has next day shipping in Florida. They could probably get you a Vista quick. I live not far from Miami. It's all good. The chase rig, like I said, is just like, or the cheater rig rather, is just like kind of for funsies. This is the main rig that I'm going to fly most of my batteries on, and this has a full Vista in it, so it's completely fine. Not to mention that the naked Vistas, as long as you keep the propellers spinning, are completely fine. Like they stay completely cool. So it'll be all right. And I mean, what I usually do because I'm paranoid about it. Because the DJI link is going into the TV truck and being streamed out to 11 billion people. Not really, but a lot of people. When I land, so like the flow is basically like riders come around, chase them down the main drag. They go onto the rest of the racetrack, turn around, haul back to my starting point. And then I land and wait for a little while for them to come around the rest of the racetrack. And when I land, I'll disarm it real quick, but then I'll rearm it and I'll just let it sit there with the prop spinning just to keep everything cool. So yeah, heat management is something that I think about, but and like just sitting there at idle, like the you're using very little juice, you know, like when you look at your amp reading, it's like super low, so it doesn't really affect flight time to sit there. And even with I do that even with the full size Vistas because they get hot too. So yeah, I should be good, but that's a good call, Wes. Big Fran says, what's better, a Zorro 4-in-1 radio with an ELRS module or Zorro ELRS with a 4-in-1 module? Newbie Drone subscribed. Look at that. What's up, Kelvin? I assume it's Kelvin watching. What's up, brother? Big Fran, I am not up on the newest radios. I run old transmitters. I have 2 of these QX7s. These are the only transmitter. I have big, like, long fingers. And the QX7 is really the only radio that works for my big long fingers, and is comfortable. And they're $100, so and they do everything that I need them to. So yeah, I just don't pay any attention to the new transmitters because until they make one that is that shape and does something better than that, like, yes, sure, it's nice to have ELRS built in to the new transmitters. I'll give them that. But, like, the color screens, why? What? There's no, like, if it was a color screen and they were putting a VTX in it so that you could use it as, like, a backup monitor, a backup screen, I should say, maybe that's got some value to it, I guess. Maybe, not really. But, yeah, I just, the QX7 is great. And it fits my hands really well. And it fits perfectly in my bag, so... Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not the guy to ask transmitter questions, but Zorro 4-in-1 with ELRS module, Zorro ELRS with a 4-in-1 I don't even understand the question. Zorro 4-in-1 radio with ELRS module. Oh, I think I understand the question. I think the Zorro ELRS transmitter with a module bay would be better because... Although, I mean, I guess the real answer is it depends on, like, the quads that you've got. If you're just starting off now, get the Zorro ELRS because you're probably only going to run ELRS at this point. If you've got a bunch of FR Sky rigs and stuff like that, actually, I think that's a better bet no matter what because anything other than Express LRS, you're going to run a lot less frequently. Like, you're going to run rigs with Express LRS more often than anything else moving forward. So, yeah, I think that would be your best bet. Yeah. I just saw somebody mention, like, milliwatts. Wes says, with the battery life on the Zorro, any more than 250 milliwatts would suck. See that this is where I'm not a good person to ask transmitter questions because, like, I don't know if the Zorro has a battery that's this big or a battery that's this big and that kind of stuff matters. So I would search YouTube for reviews of those 2 transmitters and see if there's any, like, glaring problems with the Zorro ELRS. All that being said, you don't have to crank the output power super high because ELRS works really well. But yeah, from a convenience standpoint, my answer is going to be Zorro ELRS. But that's there's a big picture, and I'm not looking at the big picture because I don't know any of the specs. I'm just looking at this little part of it. So yeah, do with that what you may. B-Man is in the house. FaceGator DM'd me. I'll get back to you after the stream, brother, or maybe tomorrow. I'm slammed, and I can't believe I have to rip this cheetah rig apart and do more work to it. I spent hours yesterday working on it to get it just right. Danzel the Terrible says, solder up those Express LRSs on the stream tonight. We can help. No, it's just, I'm just not. The long and short of it is, I'm not gonna pull this. I'm not gonna take this apart 3 days before. And for the record, like, I might not be right about this, but here's my opinion. Couple of days before a paying gig, I try to do as little wrenching as possible. If a rig is together and it's flying properly and everything is Loctited and tightened down, and it maybe just needs some tuning help from Brandon's Baked Beans, it stays. Like, it stays together. Not a single screw gets backed out. Like, I threw a couple of zip ties on the Crossfire antenna, but that's about it. If it's working, leave it together. If there's something weird going on, and if there's a reason to take it apart, absolutely. But just, and the other thing, this rig uses all M2 hardware, and I hate M2 hardware. Understand that M2 hardware is going to strip out sooner than M3 hardware. So the less you have to take something apart with all M2 hardware, the better. Because every time you take something apart, you wear all that stuff a little bit. Like, think of it this way, right? Anytime, like, you use your muscles to do things, like you're rubbing metal against metal, you're fatiguing something. So yeah, this will not be coming apart 2 days before the event. The reason that the cheater rig had to get pulled apart, because I would have loved to have left that together, was that I don't leave it as a cheater rig. Its normal life is my ultra lightweight analog Cinewhoop without the second camera in it. So it had to come apart in order to swap that camera out. The other rig that I'm bringing, which is the bigger Cinewhoop, that same deal. It's not coming apart. I'm not pulling it apart 3 days before this event to go screwing around with ELRS. I will certainly bring ELRS with me, and if I absolutely have to tear it apart, I will. But it has been flying properly for, and the way that I kind of judge is, like, how many batteries have gone through a rig without it falling out of the air. If I've got and like, when I go to a gig, I am only bringing stuff that has had 20 or 30 or 40 batteries in a row without it acting up or falling out of the air. The Tooth Fairy 2 was acting really weird a couple days ago, and it ain't coming with me because of that. If I had enough time, I would tear it down and figure out what the hell's going on, but I don't. And that's fine because I've got other rigs to bring. So yeah, that's kind of my approach. I'm just one guy, but yeah, that approach comes from, like, yeah, I think that does kind of hold water. But you also have to be, like, if there was anything weird about this, if there was any weirdness, if there was any reason to take this apart, I would be taking it apart. But there just isn't. It's just not doing anything weird. It's got a capacitor, like, it's got all the things that it needs. There's nothing weird, there's nothing janky, there's no reason to pull it apart. So yeah, I'm not going to a couple of days. I just kind of lost track of how soon this event was. I should have pulled it apart last week or the week before to put an ELRS module in it. Not that there's really space for it, now that I look, but I'll find a spot. Maybe I can slide the Crossfire receiver. Oh, no, that ain't gonna work. Oh, okay, yeah, I can put it right up front here. Yeah, there's a little spot for it. Put it right up here and throw a zip tie on it, and we'll be good. As long as the antenna will reach. Yeah, I'll figure it out. But yeah, a couple of days before an event, be really careful ripping a rig apart. God only knows what can happen. Jason Black says cell towers are hidden in signage too. They are indeed, but they're almost always up nice and high, which is why I should be completely fine. But we'll I'll let you know Friday night. Cold Front and Penguin says, does Blue Jay really do wonders, or is it overrated? Scared to flash my WO7. It is. I had a quad that was misbehaving a couple weeks ago on stream, and I flashed it back to BLHS, and went full throttle while I was holding it as a little tiny whoop. And then I put it back onto Blue Jay and went full throttle. And there was a definite difference in thrust with Blue Jay. I've also not had any issues with flashing Blue Jay on ESC-configurator.com. So it's a fairly straightforward kind of thing. Yeah, don't be afraid to do it. And it really does seem like it makes a significant difference. So yeah, go forth and Blue Jay. B-Man says, if you don't want Vistas, send them to me. Vistas for life. I'm super happy with the Vistas. The whole 03 thing is kind of weird. But Wes says frames that can't fit 03 cameras. That's a perfect reason to not get an 03. I haven't, you know, I might have plenty of reasons for continuing to buy Vistas over 03s. I just haven't thought through it, and I don't think through things really well while I'm trying to live stream and talk. So yeah, keep that conversation going, friends, because I learned as much from you guys as you learned from me. Veritas Sousa says, if you fly a drone past a microwave relay dish, it'll... What? What? If you fly a drone... The way that Veritas... Here's how Veritas typed this out. If you fly a drone, a pastor, a microwave, and a relay dish, it'll smoke your drone. And then he says, birds get killed by the radiation when they get too close. Oh my God. You'll find them dead near the tower. Jesus. I think what he meant to type is, if you fly a drone past or I think what he's trying to say is if you fly a drone near a microwave relay dish, I don't know what that is, it'll smoke your drone. I think that's what he's trying to say. I never fly anywhere near the satellite dish looking things. And just like antenna towers and shit in general, to just stay away from them. Like dive them, sure, like come diving down them so that you're going past the antennas for just a split second. Actually, don't do that. You're not allowed to dive them. You're supposed to stay 5,000 feet from guy wires. So don't dive big towers. Unless you want to. Do whatever you want. Just don't put the footage up and have it get viewed by 1 million people, because then the FAA will stab you. Athix says, do you still have the 5-inch arms for the 250, and would you part with them? I don't think so. I think someone bought them from me. I've not seen them in quite a long time. And this is my box of like stuff that I'm actively trying to sell, which or not box, bag. I still have this Axis flying box if anybody wants to buy it. Yeah, I don't see them. I don't think, and I have some recollection of someone buying them from me. So I'll dig around a little bit though, Athix, and see if I can find them. Mudder Erickson says, if you have V2 goggles, I'd stick with Vistas for most builds. I'm gonna quit buying them because I have V1 goggles and will need to buy new ones. With V2. What's the logic behind that, Metal Skin? If you have V2 goggles, I would stick with Vistas for most builds. I would think, and my thought process has been, since I have V2 goggles, and I can use the O3 air units, that makes sense to buy the O3 air units, because I think they have a little bit more output power, but maybe they certainly get a lot more range, but that might be because with some magic between those and the goggles too. I haven't totally dug into it yet. But my thinking on the O3 air unit is, my God, it would be cool to have DVR on board that's 4K. And with V2 goggles, you can just use them. If you have V1 goggles, you can't use the O3 air unit, which becomes an interesting excuse to buy goggles too. But, yeah. B-Man says the O3 camera is too delicate for bando bashing. Fair enough. The Pro Vista combo is bomb-proof. Yeah, I've been hearing weird things about the O3 camera being a little fragile. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, it's a camera with a 4K sensor. Like, you know, camera stuff is delicate and sensitive. The fact that, like, we have cameras that we can do what we do with is kind of crazy. So, I can't be like, DJI, you suck ass for making a 4K camera that can't bang off concrete 7,000 times at 100 miles an hour. You know, like, that's completely unfair. But yeah, the Vista with... And I'm assuming that the O3 Air unit is bomb-proof. It's just the new camera that's not, right? I think it's maybe too early to know for sure. But, yeah, durability is a great reason. Great reason. CMYK says, yo, dude, what batteries do you run on 5-inch? I get low battery warnings immediately, even on new batteries. Tattoo, R-Line, 6S, 1050s, and I like the version 1. The version 4 is also really good, but it's 10 grams heavier. More power, but I'll take the lightweight over a little bit more power. Denzel the Turbo says O3 would be the way to go for streaming live events like CiottiFPV's bike races. Yeah, so that's a big part of my thinking about O3. Although at the moment, the only way to get the higher quality output is to build a Raspberry Pi with a screen with HDMI and then run Cosmos Streamer. And from the folks that I've talked to that are doing that, it is finicky. You have to, like, one of the most annoying things that you have to do is apparently your USB cable between your goggles and the Pi with the Cosmos Streamer, you have to cut a red wire inside of the USB cable. Otherwise, Cosmos Streamer freezes a lot. Here's the other thing. The TV trucks and the live streaming standard is still 720p. Most of the... So, at that point, there's no reason whatsoever to go O3. Not to mention that, like, the Vistas look great. And the fact that we're a floating camera at 10 or 20 or 50 or 60 miles an hour, like, the fact that we can do that, people aren't looking at the quality and going, it looks like that's 720. I can't watch this. No, I need 1080. It just doesn't happen. Like, all of a sudden, you go from boring-ass static cameras to a floating camera like a foot off of the cyclist that then rotates around and shows the expression on their face. Like, the 720 is amazing. And, like, every single one of these races that I've done, the entire TV truck has lost their fucking minds with how good the quality is. I mean, just like, full stop. They're like, oh my God, this is insane. This is absolutely insane what you're able to do. And they're reacting to, like, the camera shots that we're getting, right? Like, quality is great for, like, stills or for static cameras and shit like that. But with what we do, the quality is so much less important because we are able to put our cameras into locations that no one has ever been able to do before. You can't drop a fucking helicopter down 6 inches off the top of cyclists, right? So, like, nobody's ever seen that before. And when you show that to them, they don't give a fuck if it's 540p or 720 or 1080. So, yeah, but I mean, the biggest thing is that the TV truck, and this is a multi-million-dollar TV truck, specifically asked for 720p 5997 frames per second. And I was like, cool, let's do it, motherfuckers. And so until the standard changes to 1080, and even when it changes to 1080, they'll still be able to take 720. So, yeah, I'm sure that they'll figure out how to make it more reliable. But for right now, 720 all day, yo. But it's the whole, like, am I gonna buy a Vista? You know, like, am I gonna spend $100 on a Vista when there's an O3 air unit? It's kind of like, ooh, that's a little tough, right? Because if you're gonna spend money, you want it to last as long as possible. So that's, yeah. Avik says, ask an FPV buddy for a lift to RDQ. That could be fun. That could be a fun little trip to take Friday night. Maybe I'll talk to Aerobrat about that. Unless, who was saying that they're in Miami? If you're in Miami, message me and we'll at least link up and yeah, say hey. What else is going on here in chat? YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up again. Athix says, did you see the nighttime shootout with the Polar and WS night cam? What's WS? WS. WalkSnail night cam. I did. Good Lord. The new... And it's not even a night cam. It's just their pro cam, right? That's another thing that's got me kind of jazzed up about WalkSnail. Yeah, that new WalkSnail Pro Cam is damn good. That's pretty dope. 661 says, Lipo 4S 850 is exactly 100 grams. Yep, 4S... Oh, okay, yeah, see, that's too heavy. 4S lithium ion, 3,000 mAh, though, good God, is exactly 200 grams. Yeah, 200 grams is just way too much. Although I think they do make smaller lithium ion cells, right? It's not just 18650. They shrink down. So I mean, maybe there's one, I don't know, but they would have to be half the size, but then it would be 1500 mAh. That's still amazing compared to 850, but it would just scare me. Denzel the Terrible says, is that a Cinesplorer with carbon fiber guards? It is not. This is a Lumineer Ryan Harrell designed QAV Pro, I think it's called, box style frame. Do you guys know who, tag me, do you know of another 2.5-inch box style frame like this? I want to build another one of these, and I'm tempted to use the same frame, but this frame is $85 on GetFPV. So yeah, if there's another 2.5-inch propellered box style frame like this that you can think of, drop it in the chat or shoot me a message somewhere. All my social shit is on CiottiFPV.com, and I might buy it and build it out because, yeah, sub 250 land, yo. Veritas User says, are they going to broadcast the race on YouTube? If so, what's the URL? They are not. Both of these companies that do these cycling races, in order to pay for the rental and on the crew and yeah, of the TV truck and all that stuff, they charge for viewing the live stream. So you would have to pay to watch it. If you're not into cycling, it's probably not worth it. I don't even know. I think it's NCL is the organization. I guess that stands for National Cycling League. NCLRacing.com. Let's see. Yep, Miami Beach Invitational. So yeah, this is the organization, and it's the Miami Beach Invitational, April 7th to 8th. So Saturday is going to be the big race, and okay, yeah. So it's here. Race course location. Here we go. Watch NCL races on demand. Subscribe to Ride. Yeah, so you have to subscribe. I wonder what. Let's see what it costs. Oh, wow, it's $40. You got to do it. But it looks like it's a year-long subscription. I gotta be honest. Unless you're into cycling, don't pay $40 to watch. Because here's the thing, right? Like, I might not be in there at all. God forbid I show up and there's just, it's complete chaos with, like it was. So like the Salt Lake City race, for example, they did not take my camera very often because I had a very limited area that I was able to fly in, and they had other static cameras that covered that area really well. So for all we know, that could be the same situation here. Like there could be 5 shots of me in all the races combined. So yeah, I would not really recommend you spend $40. Again, unless you're into cycling, because it is pretty cool. It's a cycle. It's like NASCAR cycling. It's a circuit. And what's cool about that is the cyclists get all like together and they draft each other the whole time and knock each other off and stab each other. And it's they don't do any of that. But yeah, if you're into cycling, you might dig it. But do not spend $40 to try to see me flying, because yeah, it's like they are at absolute most. They will take me as a camera for like 5 or 6 seconds, probably every other lap. And so yeah, that's not all that much. That's not enough to justify $40, I don't think. Wes says, it's been really hot in Florida recently, and I've had my Vista overheat before I took off just in the time it took me to put my goggles on. Jesus, Wes. Well, I'll have low temperature protection turned off because I have to feed it into the smart controller. So I'll be fine, unless it melts. Veritas User says Zorro ELRS is fine, but if you need extra battery power, it will also accommodate a 4S hanging from the bottom. There's a part for that, I think. Denzel the Terrible says, what is that, push a frame? Just talked about it. CMYK says, you're going to be in Orlando next week. I am. Thursday I'm flying down, testing on Friday, races Saturday, and then fly home on Sunday. Odd says, I'm looking to build a sub 250 Cinewhoop with 03. For the frame, what's your opinion on GEPRC Cinelog 20 or the Axis Flying Cineon 20? I don't have either one of those, so I can't really speak to them. I've heard good things about both of them, so and they're pretty similar. Like you probably kind of can't go wrong with either. Here's what I will say. 2-inch, those are both 2-inch, is kind of rough. If it's going to really depend on what camera you want to carry, but if possible, get up to 2.5-inch. I know it doesn't seem like a big difference, but it is. It is a big difference. 2-inch is a propeller size that doesn't get much love because it is drastically less efficient than 2.5-inch. And it's not that much smaller. So there aren't many gains from shrinking down from 2.5 to 2-inch, but there are some significant losses in mainly efficiency and thrust, but mainly efficiency. So try to get to 2.5-inch, which is going to depend upon the camera that you're looking to carry. If you're looking to carry like a GoPro Bones, for example, you're probably not going to be able to do it with a 2.5-inch. If you're looking to just carry the 03 air unit and have that be your HD, get the hell away from those 2-inch rigs and get into a 2.5-inch rig. It can absolutely be done sub 250 with 2.5 inches and the 03 air unit on board. If you're going to carry a naked GoPro, you can probably still do it with a 2.5-inch build because they're really light. But the GoPro Bones is fairly heavy for a naked camera. Zachary says, bulletproof 2-inch whoop, no such thing. In your opinion, 65 or 75 millimeter doesn't matter. Just tired of everything breaking at first crash. Also, way to bypass camera degradation due to OSD on newbie drone. No way to do that. Newbie drones, newbie drone is just not going to give you quite as crisp of a picture as because of their proprietary OSD setup. So no way to bypass that. You can certainly put your OSD on a switch and that makes it a little bit better. But it's still going to be, for whatever reason, just a little bit more muddy than a regular a rig using the standard OSD chip. Bulletproof 2S Whoop doesn't really exist. 2S is just seems to be too stressful on the just completely shrunken down Whoop internals. Yeah, also 2S is too heavy. 2S requires you to run, so you can go from a 300 mAh battery down to a 250 mAh battery, and that saves a little bit of weight, but still, carrying that entire second battery around makes a Tiny Whoop so heavy that durability goes out the window. Tiny Whoops were not designed for 2S, they were designed for 1S. So in order to get durability, you just need to run 1S. It's just the only way for any of these frames that have been designed for 1S to crash well. So yeah, 2S is tough. The tiny lifters are 2S, and they're a nightmare when it comes to durability. That's why they're tiny lifters and not tiny freestyle rigs. So yeah, 2S is kind of puts you up into out of Tiny Whoop territory. Why 2S though, Zachary? Like, why not 1S with high KV motors? Would be my main question. McMucus says, greetings from Lima, Peru, you gangly bastard. Thanks for all you do. You're certainly welcome. You on vacation there? Or is that where you live, Mick? Craig Roth says, have you seen the FPV coverage at the Cyclocross World Championships this year? I have not. Unless it's that crazy pilot that flies like a complete madman. I forget what cyclocross is. Hold on, I have to look it up. Because I think that might be it. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, I have not seen FPV coverage from that, but we're going to start to see FPV pop up at a lot of these live streaming events, which is really, really cool. Bugs FPV says, do you like the GEPRC Cinelog 25? And do you like the Diatorama F35 camera mount? I don't know. So Bugs, I don't get, since I'm funded from you beautiful people, none of these manufacturers care about me. And they don't send me anything. And I certainly can't afford to buy any of these bind and flies. So yeah, I don't know much, if anything, about any of these bind and fly rigs. I have heard good things about the GEPRC Cinelog 25, but you can go on Facebook groups and get that same kind of feedback. And I have no idea what the Diatorama F35 camera mount is. Yeah, I'm just not the guy to ask about bind and flies. I don't. I'm all about like custom building and trying to refine FPV. So like bind and flies are not refining FPV. Bind and flies are typically like what you get started with, and then you modify them or do a custom build to have something that flies a little bit better because it's specifically tailored to your exact wants and needs. So yeah, that's kind of my thing. Odd says, yes, just 03. I'll find a light 2.5-inch frame then. Really appreciate how much thought you put in every answer you give. Thank you, dude. Curious to know if you've ever thought of a 2-inch 1S toothpick. I've gone down that road. I've done 2-inch, I've done 2.5-inch, and they just don't make enough power. The 3-inch toothpicks on like 2S or 3S are the sweet spot, in my opinion. You get good power. They're not really any louder. So like, I always kind of think like, why, right? Like 2-inch 1S toothpick, why? Is it safer than a 2-inch 1S rather? Is it safer than a 3-inch 2S toothpick? No. Is it quieter? No. Does it fly better? No. Is it just like a hype trainy kind of product that these manufacturers are saying is the greatest thing ever to get you to spend more of your money? So yeah, like these smaller than 3-inch toothpicks, I just can't find a point to them. Some people like them, and that's awesome, and I love it. But I don't, and I've tried them, and I just don't like them. They don't do anything better than the 3-inch toothpicks for me. Veritas User says, cyclocross is riding in mud, snow, off-road type stuff. In 1 year, I rode over 16,000 miles on a bicycle. I'm going to sign up and watch you on Saturday, bud. Very cool, Veritas. That's super cool. McMucus says, I live in NorCal, but was born here visiting the family. Going to see the Nazca lines this time. Very cool. That's a hell of a vacation. Zachary says, I have a ton of 2S450s that I'm trying to find a use for. High KV 1.6 or 2-inch. Can't recall why I bought them, but they've been sitting around. That's too big of a battery for something that small. Zachary, build you a that's the same battery that I run on this big fat Vista pick, 3-inch toothpick. Those are perfect batteries for this, man. Down at 1.6 or 2 inches, those batteries are going to be way too heavy, and it's going to fly even worse than they usually fly. So yeah, build you a 3-inch toothpick, yo. Get like a 1204 motor that's 7,500 kV, or these are 8,000 kV, and yeah, that'll rip on 3-inch propellers. That's your that's gonna be the best, in my opinion, the best use for those 2S450s. Bug says, sorry, I meant the Cinelog 25 frame, built one that is 4S sub 250. I was wondering what you thought of that type of pusher frame compared to your box style. I don't love the pusher frames, although to be honest, they're pretty much the same thing as the box style frames. But yeah, the pusher frames have a tendency to put the propellers a little bit too close to the ground for me, which makes taking back off, God forbid you crash or you land it somewhere, incredibly difficult. It's sometimes impossible, and then you've lost your rig and any footage that might be on it. So I stay away from the pusher frames typically. I don't love that this is a pusher frame. I was very close to convert. You can actually just flip this thing upside down and run it as a puller frame. But I talked to the frame designer, Ryan Harrell, who's a friend of mine, and he said there was a real serious increase in efficiency because he designed it on purpose like that. And he said there was a 20% efficiency increase in having this thing be a pusher design like this. I think that has something to do, and so does he, it has something to do with the aerodynamics of the box style frame. But yeah, and this rig needs efficiency, so I left it as a pusher. If I ever build another one of these, I'll build it as a puller. I really prefer the puller style because it just puts the props up higher, which is just a more realistic rig to have and fly and live with. So yeah. Odd says it's more for the German nonas that are afraid, and I saw with small rigs that they think are toys. Okay, yeah, I mean a 2.5-inch rig though, it's going to look just as much of a toy as a 2-inch rig in my opinion. But Erickson says the original 1S toothpick was 65 millimeters, but mostly because the props that existed back in 2019. Now there are a lot of better ones in the 3-inch class. Yeah, prop selection is another thing that handcuffs 2-inch rigs. There aren't a lot of 2-inch propellers out. And prop selection's real. You know, I've not built rigs because there is not a good propeller in that particular size. It gets better as time goes on, and you know the prop manufacturers make more and more propellers. But hey, finally caught up on chat, yo. This is a box that Newbie Drone sent me that apparently has a Crossfire Cinewhoop in it. I'll believe it when I see it. They also sent a set of a fresh set of Nitro Nectar Gold 300 PH2 MAH PH 2.0 batteries, which will be going into the giveaways for you beautiful people. So, and you know, I had mentioned previously that I was going to switch the giveaways to once a month, the first Monday of every month, and I just completely forgot that today was the beginning of a new month. So I apologize. Tonight should be a giveaway stream. Next Monday will be the April giveaway stream, unless I forget again, and then it'll be the Monday after that. I'll figure out one of these. I'll figure out how to live stream one of these days. Here it is, apparently a Crossfire Cinewhoop. Let's see it with our own eyes, friends. This is my favorite new little X-Acto blade holding thingy. that you can get from ready-made RC. It goes back in itself, got a little latch on it, and it's magnetic, so you can stick it right to the front of your toolbox. And it just takes regular little X-Acto knife blades. So, Off-Axis says, if it is real, I want a Crossfire whoop. CiottiFPV, let's talk business, LOL. I don't know what I'm doing with this after I fly it around a little bit. It's the colors from the picture. Oh, God. Good looking whoop, man. Black canopy, black frame, and green Azzy props. First thing I'm going to do is drill these props out. Look at that, yo. Hold on. Logitech is being a donkey. Fancy looking little guy. Hot looking little guy. I like it. Okay, it's not going to focus. What do we do now? Now what do we do? What do we do now? Now what do we do? So, BLV4, and it's got the it's got a little tiny Immortal T antenna here. So Crossfire is 900 megahertz. This is going to be like 5th wave or something like that. So you're not going to get full Crossfire range, but it's a tiny whoop. How far are you really going to go? Oh, and I can see it in there. Here, let me show you. It's the it's one of the new proper Crossfire antennas. That's pretty rad. You see that red in there? That's the new Crossfire Mini Mortal T antenna. So that's awesome. That's a really good sign. There have been a whole bunch of shortened Crossfire antennas that have not been tuned properly, and they've given you really bad range. So you got to be kind of careful with that. But yeah, this is one of the new proper antennas. That's a really, really, really good sign. So it's got their brand new 802s, which are apparently 27,000 kV. I can't confirm. I'll be able to confirm that as soon as I put it up in the air, actually. What else can I tell you? Not a whole lot. It's a Bee Drone BLV4. I've had those on this channel a bunch. They are the best Acro Bee that I've ever flown, and the fact that they're now shipping them with 27,000 kV motors is absolutely amazing. Let's plug it into Betaflight. Apparently, so I've been telling Bee Drone to do higher kV motors and just motor limit them down for a long time, and apparently they now have. But I'll believe it when I see it. Let me get the they've got the PH2 running out the side of the frame. I prefer it to go through the bottom of the frame. So when you get it, I'm going to make a little suggestion. First thing I think you should do is, so they've got the PH2 coming out the side, which is fine. That's not a big deal. It then comes around and plugs in. But I prefer to run it down in through here, basically because when it's out the side like this, it's blocking a bunch of thrust here. I know that seems like not a big deal, but it kind of is, and we need every little bit of thrust that we can get from tiny whoops. So take it, and you should be able to do this without taking it apart. Let's find out. It's going to be tough for me to do this while holding it up so that you guys can see it, but I think I might have it. So it'll go through there, and then just take your little tweezies, and yay, there we go. Okay, so then you take it, and it just sits. It sits right there, and you might think it gets in the way of the battery, but it does not. Look, see that? See how it sits nice and flat right on there? Yeah, this is how I've done every single Acro Bee I've ever had, and it's completely fine that it sits there. And it almost kind of makes the battery fit a little bit better in here because there's a little bit of rubber. The battery is sandwiched between this little nub, the nub on the other side, and this. So you wouldn't want this like sitting up. You certainly wouldn't want this sitting up on top of the nub. You got to make sure when you're putting the battery in that these leads are to the left of the nub there. So just keep that in mind. let's get this in the Betaflight and take a look at if it has motor limiting. That would be super cool. Kelvin and I were just specifically talking about it like last week. And he was agreeing with me that it's a good idea. And word on the street is they're now doing it. So there it is, BLV4 CRSF 65. The question has been answered. It's not an April Fool's joke. If you were still... If you didn't know that by now, from what we were talking about earlier in the stream, I don't know what to tell you. I'm on an old configurator, that's fine. Let's just do a couple quick checks. Nose down, nose up, roll left, roll right, yaw left, yaw right. Good to go. Up. I wasn't showing my screen, sorry. They've got Serial X turned on UART2. Nothing turned on for the VTX. No smart audio for the VTX. It's all built in. Okay. Interesting. They ship it on Fat Shark 4. That's weird. Let's go to race band 8 the way it should be. Leave the power on 25 because we're inside. And low power disarm, I recommend you turn that from on until first arm. And we're going to save. Let's go back up. I always like to go through these tabs top to bottom. And in this case, I did not. Craft personalization is here. Let's turn that off. And we'll turn on our... Come on. There we go. 320, 320, so it's a BMI 270. Accelerometer is turned on. LED strip is on. Air mode, OSD. Fine. How much does it weigh? Great question, June Loco. What's up, Apache? And then... That was interesting. The D-Shot beacon's turned on, but the beacon tone was just showing a blank. That's weird. Save and reboot. All right, configuration tab. We'll just double check it again real quick. All right, we're good. Power and battery. I've been raising this minimum cell voltage from 2.9 up to 3.0 just to give myself a little bit of an earlier warning, and the warning cell voltage from 3.2 to 3.3. You don't have to do that, but certainly can. Fail safe. It's a Cinewhoop. It's pretty safe. You can turn your guard time on to 3 seconds from 1.5 seconds. It's just a Cinewhoop, yo. You'll be alright. We don't need presets. PID tuning. Whoa. What is happening here? There it is. Motor output limit 80%. So they are using it. All right. So here's what they're doing. They've got a couple of different PID profiles for different amounts of power. It looks like they've just got 2. No, okay. They just have one PID profile. They have one PID profile, and they've just limited the motor output to 80%. That's actually really smart, because once you get better, you're going to learn more, and you're going to figure out that you can change this motor output limit. What I was thinking that they maybe did was, and what Kelvin and I had talked about, is that you can put in here in adjustments. There's nowhere to do it in modes, I don't think. Now, in modes, you can't do it. But in adjustments, you can enable one of these. You can pick the aux channel that you want, aux channel 2, for example. You can open up the range. So on aux channel 2, you can have a 3-position switch that triggers 3 different things in here. And one of the things that you can do, so check it out. If enabled, we've now enabled it. When channel aux 2 is in this range, and so if it's a 3-position switch, you're going to have position 1, position 2, and position 3. So you're going to have 3 different options in that range. So when channel aux 2 is in one of those 3 different positions, then apply, look at all these options. There are a ton of really cool options in here. You can change RC rate, RC expo, throttle expo, all these different pitch rate, roll rate. The really interesting ones, though, are rate profile selection. So you can set up a switch to switch between 3 different rate profiles. This is phenomenal for if you're trying out different rates. You can go into your rates tab and you can set up 3 rate profiles with differing amounts of expo or differing amounts of center stick sensitivity. And then on a switch in the air, well, I think rates, I don't know, you might have to land and disarm to change rates, but that might be PIDs. Shit, I forget. Either PIDs or rates profiles, one or the other, you have to change when you're disarmed. So yeah, don't quote me on that. But yeah, you can have a switch that you, at the worst case, you land real quick, disarm, flip the switch, take back off, and you can try a completely different rate profile to see if you like it. You can also do it with, I think you can do it with PIDs. I think you can change PID profiles. Maybe not. Maybe not. I get you. Okay, so I think PIDs is the one that you can't do on the fly, maybe. But yeah, the other really interesting ones here are, oh, LED profile selection. That's cool. OSD profile selection. This is what I use it for. So you can switch between in your OSD, you're given 3 different profiles. So you can have, like what I have, one profile with everything turned on, and then another profile with everything other than warnings turned off. So you can get clean DVR footage, and then when the battery gets low, it'll flash up a warning so you don't over discharge the battery. Is there really not? What I was gonna say is that in here, you can set an adjustment to change PID profiles, and the different PID profiles have access to different motor limiting. But it looks, I swear to God, at one point, it was in here, but it appears that they've removed it. With PID audio selection, I don't know what the hell that is. I don't think that's it, because why would the word audio be in there? Okay. I think they removed it because this is more for like on the fly changes. So I'm going to turn this off because I'm not using this, but yeah, that's something that I thought you could maybe do. Well, okay. So it's no big deal. Instead, what you can do is just land and go into your OSD, and then you can just change the, oh, good call, Brandon's Baked Beans, good fucking call. You can use stick commands to change PID profiles. Yeah, so what you can do is you can make a second PID profile where you have the motor output limit at 100%, and you would dial in your PIDs here, and then you can use Betaflight OG stick commands to change your PID profile. So in Google, you just type in Betaflight stick commands, and you'll get a bunch of images. And in these images, here's the big one. Come on now. There it is. These are stick commands. When you're disarmed, you can hit these stick commands. The arm, for example, is left stick, bottom right, right stick in the center. And there it is, profile 1, profile 2, profile 3. So while you're disarmed, you can switch between PID profiles with these stick commands right here. And that can trigger varying amounts of, well, yeah, all the PIDs. You can have totally everything that's in the PID menu you can do there. So yeah, there you go. But that's a little complex for beginners, I guess. But you guys aren't beginners, so you can do that. Or you can just do the OSD command, and in your OSD there is you can change your motor output limit. It's in, I'll show you where it is. I'll show you where it is once we fly this thing. So let's get this damn thing in the air. It's 11:30 already. Oh shit! No, I gotta check a couple more things in Betaflight. Hold on. Let's go through the rest of Betaflight here. And I didn't. I got all hung up on the motor output limit. Man, this is great. 27,000 kV motors, and then they just ship it motor output limited. That is brilliant. 10,000 points for newbie drone doing that. They've got the feed forward. Oh man, this is a little weird. So they have dialed in. They have entered specific numerical values that have turned off the sliders. So let me do this. I'm going to take a screenshot of these values, and then I'm going to turn the sliders on, and then we're going to set the sliders as close as possible to those values that they've manually entered. So all right. This is just a personal preference thing. I like the feed forward around there. I like a good amount of Dmax as well. And then I like the eye gains right around there. So they've got 51, 58, and 60. So let's use the master multiplier to get the PIDs around where I want them. So roll is now 51, pitch is 54. Let's use the pitch damping slider to boost that pitch up. Okay, we got it to 59. And then for yaw P gain, so I bet you I bet you they inputted specific values so that they could get more P gain on yaw, which is a perfectly valid reason to get off of these sliders because tiny whoops love yaw P gain. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. What do I need to do to the eye gain slider to get the eye gains near? Well, okay, hold on. New idea. Roll P gain. How can I control? So if I move the master multiplier up farther, yeah, you don't have any defined control over roll. Yeah, they must have done it because they wanted more yaw authority than roll, and the sliders really don't give you the ability to do that. Brandon's Big Bean says, switch the RP sliders if you want to do yaw. Oh, yeah, right. It's right here. Yep. Good call, Brandon. So the mode switch right here, we usually just set it to roll, pitch, yaw, but then that locks you out of yaw. If you set it to just roll, pitch, then the yaw is free. So amazing. All right, so let's back this back off to 1.15. Okay, so that gives us the 51 that we want on roll P. Pitch is 59. They had it at 58, close enough. And then we're going to put this yaw P to 80. Great. They had 110 for the eye gain. Great. And then the pitch eye gain they've got at 106. So we need more eye gain here. We want to get it up to 120, 122, close enough. And then 105 on roll. They've got it at 110. Close enough. Dmax 46. They had it at 48. Close enough. 52. They had it at 58. We can do a little bit better. Yeah, we can get it perfect actually. Well that's gonna monkey around with Dmax. So let's go to the regular D gains first. They're more important. So okay. So they've added in a significant amount of D gain. So let's see what we can do here. We want to get it up to, they've got a lot of D gain in here. Okay. They've got it at 48 and 58. So I moved the damping slider, the very first slider, up to 1.4 to get the roll value up to 48. And now I'm going to take the pitch damping slider and I'm going to move that down a little bit. Okay, move that pitch damping. It looks like I had already moved it up. So I'm going to, the pitch damping slider at 1.05 puts our pitch D gain to 57, which is right next to 58. That's fine. The Dmax goes ballistic though. So I need to take some Dmax out of this. So I'm looking for 48 and 58. Oh wow, they've got the Dmax turned off. right, of course. Of course they have it turned off because this is Dmax and this is D gain and they're the same values. I just didn't notice that. I like Dmax, so I'm going to turn it on and I'm just going to put it at, I don't know, 0.8. Let's try 0.8 on this. Let's be a little bit conservative. We'll put it to 0.5. Cool. So now we're on the sliders. with a PID tune that's very, very close to what they ship this at. And that's just nice, because then you can use the sliders. So there's that. I'm going to leave the motor output limit at 80% for now, because I want to show you how to change it. What is going on here? Anti-gravity is set at 0.08. That essentially turns it off. And I like anti-gravity, so I'm going to put it to... Just in case they... Usually I'll do like 3 or 5, but just in case they have this turned way down for a reason, I'm going to be real gentle with it and set it at a value of 2. I'm going to move this jitter reduction up to 10 for a little bit of stick smoothing. I'm going to take this iTerm relax and move it to 10. That's more of a freestyle setting. Dynamic damping, this is just the way that I set it. Throttle boost 5, that's fine. Let's save this. All right, let me drop my rates in. Actual rates. That's a strange rate profile there. A lot of yaw center sensitivity. Interesting. Max rate values are pretty normal. Expo is low for me, but normal for most people. And throttle expo, we're going to do that at a value of 0.3, and we're going to put the midpoint, I'm going to take a guess and put it at 0.3. Filter settings, I'm just going to leave alone, but I at least do want to take a look at them. They do not have RPM filtering turned on. I have not been able to get RPM filtering working on this BLV4 board. It's something that I've asked Kelvin about, and he's asked the engineers about, but we haven't heard back yet. 3 dynamic notches, Q factor of 300. Woo! Excuse me. Minimum frequency of 100. Maximum frequency of 600 is probably going to be a little bit too low for this high of a KV motor. I'm going to move it up to 900. And a lot of gyro filtering at just 1.0, and a lot of D-term filtering here as well. Let's go to the receiver tab. See if we have a bind button in the receiver tab. June Loga says, why don't you fly as is tune? It pretty much is. It pretty much is the as is tune. I just got it onto the sliders so that we can adjust it a little bit more easily. 661 says the anti-gravity is going to ruin it. Interesting. Why is this not connecting to the receiver tab? Unplugging and plugging back in. PID tuning. Let's make sure that those changes stayed in there. Yeah, I have not made any significant changes to this tune. I have just set a couple of very specific personal things for me. I got to change the channel map, and I'm going to change the stick low threshold and the stick high threshold for a little bit more resolution, and I'm going to put a little bit of deadband into it. Again, just kind of personal things. And then I'm going to change the RC smoothing. I'm going to increase the RC smoothing a little bit. Again, personal things. Aux 1. Let's turn off angle mode. I'm going to set horizon mode up here for my oh shit switch. Beeper, we're going to put on aux 3 with the switch all the way down. Flip over after crash. I'm going to move up into the middle switch position. And let's leave it alone. Adjustments we already talked about. Motors, D-Shot 300, good. It's set up for props in. I'm going to leave it. Motor idle is 10%. Interesting. That's pretty high. We shouldn't need to touch anything else. In the OSD, I am going to turn on, I'm not going to put my full OSD in here, but I am going to turn on throttle position. Where the hell? Where is it? Where's the OSD? This thing might be overheating. I'm going to disconnect, pull power, and reconnect. Oh wait, it's not ELRS, so it shouldn't be running too hot. Maybe Crossfire runs hot too. Doesn't feel all that hot. This is concerning. I guess I'm not going to add anything to the OSD because we don't have our OSD menu. All right, so we'll leave it alone. I already made a couple changes to the VTX. This is the brand new Acro Bee Crossfire. And I'm going to do get PID sum. And I'm going to crank up the PID sum because Cinewhoops need it. Set PID sum to 1,000. And set PID sum on yaw to 1,000. And save. Oh, Brandon's Baked Bean says, do you need 10.9 configurator? Maybe. Maybe. All right. I don't know how to bind it, but I'm going to use the same binding procedure as the ELRS one, and I'm just going to plug a battery in 3 times, and we'll see if there is a light that begins to double flash. Let's take a look. All right, transmitter's coming up. And so... you guys didn't have to deal with the Crossfire buzz on ELRS stuff. Welcome to hell. Where the hell do you bind a Crossfire? I don't know. It's been so long since I've bound one of these things. Here we go. Binding mode. All right. Binding. Let's plug it in 3 times. See if it binds. 1, 2, 3. It's binding. Maybe. It's flashing green. Let's see. I'm moving this as far away. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this is a really nice thing about ELRS. Is it doesn't interfere with my microphone. It does not appear to be binding. How do you bind this thing? Let's plug it back into Betaflight and see if we can just hit a bind command. I didn't see it in the receiver tab, so let's try it in here. Bind_RX, is that it? Nope. BND_RX. Nope, that's not. Bind, nope. Get, bind. Shit. How do you bind it? I'm going to turn off Crossfire in a second. There's no bind button. Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to look it up on the on their website. All right, that is turned off. Let's take a look on their website. It probably tells us. Search for bind. Oh. Didn't find anything. How do we bind? Oh, it's a bearinged motor. I didn't realize that. Oh. Oh. There it is. Total weight, 24.5 grams. There you go. 24.5. Oh yeah, they talk about the motor limiting. Calvin just texted me. I bet you he's telling me how to bind it. No need to plug it in 3 times. Just bind it as Crossfire method. Oh, you know what? Crossfire, it's an auto bind the first time you power it up. All right, I forgot about that. First time you power up Crossfire, it's in auto. But man, it's been a long time since I've bound a Crossfire receiver.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Sorry, you're gonna get garbage for a minute. I apologize. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Bind. Bind, you fool. Bind. Somebody in chat also said Crossfire requires a button. Is there a button? Hold on. I'm looking. I'm looking. Is there a button? Where's the button? Is there a button? All right, hold on. Turning off the transmitter because I know you guys lose your mind. Newbie Drone is not a mod. Yes, they are now. Awesome. Just do it as Crossfire Nano. Crossfire needs to push a button. We guess there's a button. Newbie Drone, bind it like a Crossfire Nano. I haven't bound a Crossfire Nano in a while. And when they're new, I just plug them in. They go into auto bind. So, hold on. Let me take a closer look and see if there's a button here. Yeah, I usually either push the button. There is a button. Okay, let's push the button. We'll see what happens. All right, we're gonna power it up. Probably don't have to hold the button. Yeah, let me come over here. Power it up. And the button's in the back here. Let's push the button. I pushed the button. Make sure I push the button. There we go. I pushed the button now. Let's turn this transmitter on and see if we can get it to bind.
Welcome to OpenTX.
All right. Here we go. Binding. Hey! There it is. All right, so there is a button. While that's going, put this all the way over here. While that's updating the receiver, here's where the button is. Whoops. It is right back there. It is right in there, right there. Put the back stand off. Can you please focus, brother? Thank you. It is right next to that blue light. And so just power the quad up and then push that button. Don't push it with something metallic because there's stuff going on around there and you might blow it up. Stick something plastic in there. I don't know if you'll be able to fit your fingernail in there, but yeah, push the button, you'll feel it click, and then it's in bind mode. And we are at 90% updating the thingy. And away we go. Update receiver 100%. Bind. RX is loading. Do not interrupt. Green light. Flashing a couple times. I think at this point what it's doing is restart. Restarting the I don't know what it's doing. It's doing something. And there it is. We're bound. The entire time I'm flying this, though, you guys are going to get the Crossfire buzz. Let me turn the power down to as low as I can go is 10 milliwatts. All right. Hopefully that doesn't buzz super bad. I completely forgot about the whole Crossfire buzzing situation through my microphone. I don't know if that's just my mic or what, but hopefully now that I turn the power down, it's not as bad. Is it? Let me know, chat. So we're good. All right. Let's fly this thing around. We're bound. we should be good to go. This is a Nitro Nectar 250 mAh battery. I was thinking about swapping this over to BT 2.0 tonight, but we have run out of time. So we will do that maybe on another stream. All right. Little newbie drone Nitro Nectar Gold 250 is in the battery bay.
Telemetry recovered.
We is plugged in.
Battery.
Buzz is better. All right, cool. That is good news. It might get a little bit worse because I am moving over towards the mic a little bit. So, wow, that is the dirtiest lens ever. There we go. Inside my fat sharks. Off-axis buzz is better. Here we go, friends. Oh, wow. That is some serious zero idle RPM. Oh, pH 2.0. Hello. So, oh, good. So this is at, this is with the motor limiting at 80%. Chat, who's got a calculator? What's 80% of 27,000 kV? Drop it in chat with what that is. Because that is how much power we're getting right now. My guess would be that's somewhere around 22,000 kV. All right, so as is right now, compared to what I'm used to, you guys can probably already tell, very underpowered. I fly rigs that are very overpowered though, so that's a rough comparison. I'm just kind of, I'm not really able to use. Oh, well, that battery went pretty quick. These are older 250 mAh batteries. I might have really annihilated these. So let's throw another one on. And here we go. Once I get the once I get the 300 mAh batteries on, all will be right with the world. These 250s are interesting though. I mean, they are lighter. I don't know what. Oh man, really? Is it gonna be one of those nights? Okay. So yeah, pH 2.0 wise, this is the best power to weight ratio you're gonna get. Because this battery is nice and light. Flies all right. I mean, for it being in like newbie friendly mode, it's not bad. Oh god. Way better than it would be with 19,000 or 20,000 kV motors. All of my timing is based around rigs that are like 4 grams lighter with significantly more kV. So big old wiggles of prop wash that we're getting.
8, 7, 6.
But not that bad. I mean, I'm being super hard on it. Where the hell even is it?
4.
Oh, it's still in. Is it in a bag? Oh, it's in my flight bag. All right, let's keep going. Let's go upstairs actually real quick with it.
3, 2, 1. Timer 1 up.
So once it goes to, oh god, the battery. Oh boy, the battery. Once it goes to 50 hertz, it's pegged at 100. You guys are talking about. Well, I'll just let you guys look at the LQ in chat. I'm not gonna talk through it. I'm gonna focus more on the flight characteristics. So that 250 battery was much better than this one. Now we're gonna throw a 300 mAh battery on. I'm gonna fly just for a second, and then we're gonna crank this thing up. Because I can't. It's hard. Like 98% of my brain is just like, oh my god, it has no power. Which is because of, why is I think the voltage scale might be a little bit off. This battery is almost certainly not at 4.45 volts. Okay. So it's heavier now. All right. So we're just gonna turn the power up because I just can't do anything. Just gonna keep crashing it. So here's where to change the power. I think it's in miscellaneous PP, right? It's called motor output limit. There it is, 80%. Let's go to 100 and save and exit. Oh, okay. Much better, much better, much better. Okay. The PID tune is okay. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Oh geez, it's still. So this is a completely unmodified Acro Bee. I've modified mine quite a bit to bring the weight down. This is at full weight, which is significantly heavier than what I'm used to. Thus the constant crashing. I wish this fan was on a little bit of a slower setting because this has the foam pads, and I bet you I could land on the blades finally with them moving. But as you can see, with the 27,000 kV motors, all right, so there's a big hit of prop wash there. But this is the absolute worst scenario to put a rig in for prop wash. And even though, oh god, I almost got to put a fan. Even though my rigs never prop wash, they are very aggressive powertrains. Now we're talking. All right, so this is better now. BT 2.0 would make this even better yet, but even on PH 2.0, we're getting somewhere here. I'm about to get somewhere because I'm going to have to go manually recover this thing. I have all of my propeller bags over in front of the bar cart. And so like every time I crash there, it falls in between the prop bags in like a really awkward way. This is also with ASI. This is with ASI tri-blades, which are really nice. In terms of the LQ, also keep in mind that I've got my output power on the Crossfire down at 10 milliwatts. Let me actually turn that up a little bit. Hopefully it won't buzz too badly. Let's turn it up to a sane value of 100. All right, let's see how that is. Let me know in chat if... yeah, this could use more this battery's dead. Let me know in chat if the buzzing is too bad. So we've only got one battery left. I'm gonna do a really quick attempt at 2 watts. Brandon says, I'm gonna do a really quick attempt to get rid of that prop wash in the tune here, just in case like anybody buys this thing and wants to clean up the flight performance a little bit. I'm impressed that I'm able to crank it up to 100% with without the tune going ballistic. So let's push it a little bit. Let's push the tune a little bit. So now that I have it on the sliders, I can tune it in here really easily. And I'm just going to push the master multiplier. So it was at 1.15. I'm going to go up to 1.4. That's pretty aggressive. Let's see if it'll... Nope. All right, so we're approaching overtuned. Let me show you how I know that. Just listen. See that little wobble after I stab the throttle? All I'm doing is ramping the throttle up and down. And what you can hopefully hear is the motors spin up and down, but then they give another little, so they're going like, that second little blip that they're doing by themselves, that is the easiest sign that you're slightly overtuned. So let's back this down to 1.3. Oh, it's still doing it. So instead of the master multiplier, let's try to just push D gain, because D gain is the main value that attacks. Actually, you know what? Let's push the shit out of the D-Max. The reason I love D-Max is that it's only active when the quad gets into situations where it needs more D-gain. And now, as you can hear, that behavior is gone. And now let's go upstairs and put it into really nasty prop wash with the full room power loop. And you can see the magic of D-Max. Alright, so it's still there. So I think what's happening is D-Max is not activating quick enough. It's worth a shot, though. We could start screwing around with the D-Max advance in the gain, but that's not something I'm going to be able to do quickly. So instead, I'm going to bring D-Max down to 1.0, just because I went a little bit ballistic with it. And let's just try to push some D-gain in here. Although it's already pretty aggressive on the D-gain. I want the D-Max to come on sooner. I'm going to really rely on D-Max to help this thing out. So this is the D-Max gain and advance. I'm going to crank it up. Let's see if that helps. We're getting into the world of kind of like a little bit more advanced tuning, I got to be honest, and it's better. It is definitely better. Well, I think it's better. Let's see. Nah, it's still having a really hard time. That's such a challenging situation that I'm putting it into there. I mean, you kind of can't do something that'll bring prop wash out that's any worse than that. So yeah, the stock tune is pretty aggressive. It's a pretty aggressive stock tune. And without black box logs, it's going to take a bunch of batteries to get that dialed in. To be honest, I think putting it onto BT 2.0 would probably be the best way of... Hey, how are the were the LQ values a little bit better? With these little mini Mortal T antennas, the LQ values are pretty rough. They are not optimized. Yeah, all right. So we're still at 100. We're still pegged. And keep in mind that Express LRS calculates LQ a little bit differently than Crossfire. That's me running it down too low. So yeah, there you go. Those are the only batteries that I've charged. Those are the only PH 2.0 batteries that I've charged. Crossfire Cinewhoop exists. It was not an April Fool's joke. I forgot to pull the props off and drill the props out to 0.99. So hopefully I didn't bend any of these motor shafts already. I didn't crash it that hard. Let me show you what kind of performance you can get from one of these Acro Bees with BT 2.0 and the same motors. But it's going to be on ELRS, which isn't going to affect much of anything flight performance wise. But let me just show you the difference. I have spent a little bit of time tuning this one. This is also on GemFan's new tri-blade, so this is not a really fair comparison, but it's a comparison nonetheless. I've also lightened this up a little bit. This is on the Mobula 6 canopy and camera, so now you're going to be looking at it through a Runcam Nano 3, and that's it. So it's let's put them both on the scale. I think it's about a gram lighter, but let's take a quick look. And yeah, these are the same motors, the same 0802 27,000 kV motors. So this one that I'm about to fly on BT 2.0 is 22.8 grams. This one that we just flew, I can feel that it's heavier, 24.2 grams. So we've got roughly the same amount of thrust in terms of propeller and motor, but we've got BT 2.0, which is going to definitely deliver more power. And then we've got almost 2 grams less weight. So you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell. If you buy one of these Acro Bees, the first thing that I would do to it is put it onto BT 2.0. And I don't know about changing the camera and canopy out. You're going to have to dive into like soldering direct to the to one of these little Runcam Nanos, which is, I don't know, it's not hard, but it's kind of not easy either. But yeah, it does bring the weight down. Also, the other thing I did is I took out the T antenna. The T antenna. A bunch of the extra weight that this thing has is this Immortal T, Mini Mortal T Crossfire antenna. I took the ELRS T antenna out of that and just put another little whip antenna in, and that saved a little bit of weight as well. So camera canopy and antennas are what I've changed on this one. But the big thing is BT 2.0. Why is this not bound? What's happening? Why are you in Wi-Fi mode? What's the deal, little fella? There it goes. That was odd. All right, check it out. I've also spent some time tuning this one, for the record. So it's still heavier than what I'm used to. It's still washing out and sliding around there. You can see the OSD is going nuts because I've customized the OSD. If you leave, oh man, yeah, it's really evident there. So it's still prop washing a little bit there. If you fly it right though, you can stay out of your own prop wash. But yeah, it still has it. I've not been able to really nail the tune with this BLV4 board. It's partially because this build is a little heavier than what I'm used to. It's easier. The lighter weight tunes, or the lighter weight builds rather, are easier to tune for sure. But yeah. This is BT 2.0 makes a world of difference. Hey, easy fella, easy, easy. Oh. Get up. Ooh, it landed right on my hand. That was kind of nice. So yeah, there's your example of BT 2.0 versus PH 2.0. It's actually, I mean, definite difference for sure, definite difference. But I actually kind of thought that it would be a bigger difference than that. Let me do one more real quick, just because I have a bunch of these batteries that I need to discharge. So yeah, and I mean, this is really emulating the exact experience that you would get from putting BT 2.0 onto the Crossfire rig. Other than the weight, you would have slightly more weight. And I don't know how you would fix. I mean, you couldn't really do the antenna trick. Okay, so this is a much more fresh battery. So now it's a much bigger difference. So let's try that move up there again. Let's try the prop wash check again. Those, well, I don't know. I don't know how fresh those PH 2.0 batteries were. Yeah, okay, it's still prop wash in there. Maggie's not in her office, so she might be trying to sleep. But as you can see, this is a better indication of. Oh wow, it disarmed. I think it went into anti-TAS mode. Oh shit! Wow, I can't. Okay, easy, easy, big fella.
5, 4,
Oh, it just clipped the edge of the chair.
2,
What you doing, buddy?
1.
Leaning to the side a little bit.
Timer 1.
Ooh, I've never done that wall ride before. That's a sketchy one, but a fun one nonetheless. There's not much of a gap here between those. Yeah, this is more like it, man. This is the magic of BT 2.0. GNB has a new BT 2.0 looking plug coming, which hopefully Newbie Drone and everybody else, to be honest, will jump over to. And it kind of looks like you can almost plug BT 2.0 into it. I was wondering how that would go. Where are you, little guy? What is that? What am I in? I'm in something. What am I inside of? Oh, there it is. The prop box thing. Yeah, okay. I mean, you could probably hear how much higher these motors are winding up to. Still use my QX7 as the daily driver. Yeah, it's just more comfortable. Also notice the runtime with BT 2.0. Like you get more power and more runtime. It's really wild. I don't know if it went through that gate, but it went through that one. But then I biffed it. So that's what you get if you swap it over to BT 2.0 and figure out a way to shave a little bit of weight. On the Crossfire one, I don't know how you're going to save weight other than the canopy and camera swap. And you're going to kind of have to the Goober canopy and BI camera, they're not heavy. It's just the Mobula 6 camera and the Mobula 6 canopy and Runcam Nano 3 are really lightweight. So, yeah, I don't know, but it is a significant weight saving. So that would be my upgrade path if I were to, if it were pre-ELRS me, and I had to have a Crossfire Whoop, I would get this guy. I would actually leave the motors alone. I'd pull these props, drill them out, and then I would swap the camera and canopy out. The Mobula 6 canopy is just indestructible, and the Runcam Nano 3 camera looks pretty good. Let's do a little camera comparison actually, while we're kind of farting around, so that if you do that swap to save a little bit of weight, you'll know kind of what you're getting into, how the camera's going to change basically. So this is the Newbie Drone BI camera. gonna put it right here on the desk. Just put that there as a, no, I'm gonna move it forward closer. Okay, cool, so I'll leave it right there. All right, so there's the new Bee Drone BI camera. And then here is the RunCam Nano 3. So this is going to be the difference in camera if you decide to save a gram by switching app. Cool. Good job, Newbie Drone. There is a Crossfire Cinewhoop. That is not something that I ever thought that we would have. I kind of thought that that ship had sailed. What am I doing that for? With Crossfire on a whoop. This is really cool. This is really, really, really cool that this exists. These motors are a really good KV. 27,000 KV is a nice number. The ASI props, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of. Now that we can drill them out, though, I'm more of a fan, that's for sure. Get you a Cinewhoop prop puller for sure, because the Newbie Drone props tend to really fit tight, and I don't want you to bend motor shafts trying to take them off. Although, let's see. They didn't push them all the way down. Usually, the problem I have with ASIs, though, is pulling them off by hand here. More often than not, I bend the blades. And then that makes them out of balance. That wasn't too bad just now, though. But I have this, so I'm going to use it. Because this makes absolutely sure that you don't bend the blades up. Or bend the motor shaft. So, yeah. But yeah, this is an awesome option for those of you that are on Crossfire that refuse to go to ELRS, which was me, like, about a year ago. So if you're like that, welcome. You're in good company. But yeah, I'm going to drill these out to 0.99. And then they're going to fit on the shafts better, and I'm going to be able to push them all the way down onto the motor shafts, which is going to make everything more durable. Makes the props more durable because they sit in the ducts more, and it makes the motor shafts more durable because the prop is not up as high on the motor shaft trying to bend it when you slam into stuff. Drilling these out also prevents you from needing one of these. If you drill all of your Cinewhoop props out to 0.99, and I still have a couple of the drill bits left, you can by hand somewhat easily put the propellers on all the way down in the shaft and take them off without ruining anything. So yeah, do it. It's well worth it. Marcelo Faxa says you should have your own custom pilot props. That'd be pretty cool. Stay tuned. Maybe there's something in the works. Not Cinewhoop related, but maybe there's something coming. You never know. What else can I say? I don't know what else to say. Kevin Sumner put screen grabs of the two camera images over in Livestream Live on Discord. Very cool of you. Thank you, brother. To get access to Livestream Live over on Discord, you do have to join my Patreon. It's only 10 cents a day, though, and it is the thing that allows me to keep doing this full-time for you, 10 plus hours a week. If you want a 0.99mm drill bit, you got to buy some stickers to represent your buddy, CiottiFPV. We've got a couple of Gangly Gang stickers, holographic and matte. I've got a brand new OG Apple themed CiottiFPV holographic sticker. If you're super into motorsports, got a little Gulf livery action. So for $10, you can do a drill bit with a single sticker that you just saw. You can also order a McStinky mount from me, or two or three, or there's something else. McStinky mount, or yeah, the 3mm spacers. If you want to do the 3mm spacers, shout out to Kelvin for hooking me up with those. The 3mm spacers under your TPU so you can crank your front 4 screws down on your 5-inch builds without smushing the TPU. I've got you covered on that. For $15, you can do a sticker pack with any one of those 3 things. This is considered a sticker pack because there's 5 stickers on it. Or we've got the matte pack, which is Micro King sticker, Gangly Gang, and regular old red logo. And then the holographic pack, window cling with holographic Gangly Gang and holographic CiottiFPV logo. Jackalope super chatted $5. Thank you, brother. He says WalkSnail Fund. Thank you, dude. You are the first contributor to the WalkSnail Fund. The wokest of snails. Very cool of you. I haven't seen you in the chat in a little bit, Jackalope. Everything cool? I hope all is well for you, my friend, and the rest of you. But I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. I'm going to get some food, and maybe I'll make a little drink. Maybe I'll have a drink. You never know. I don't drink often, but when I do, I drink so much that I throw up in people's hair. That's not true. I haven't thrown up from drinking in a long time. Since Maggie and I were first dating, actually. Tell you guys that story another time. Thanks for hanging out, friends. I love every single one of you. CiottiFPV.com has all the ways that you can support me. It means a whole hell of a lot. Patreon is your best bet, though, if you want the majority of your money to come to me so I can keep on doing this. But a bunch of other things that you can do. Huge shout out to Newbie Drone for sending this over, man. This is very cool. Newbie Drone has been very good to me. And they're a great company, and like the fact that they're willing to cater to new folks, like, don't forget what a big deal that is. You know what I mean? Like, we were all new once, and a company that has like stateside customer support that just cares about new people is a really big deal. It's easy to forget that, right? For those of us that have been in this world for a long time, and we're looking for like really advanced stuff, you know. So don't forget that, and support them. Like, also keep in mind that Newbie Drone's website has tons of stuff, and they have a lot of stuff that nobody else does. They have a bunch of Axis motors, the Axis 2004 in really high kV, and the 1404. Nobody else has those motors. So yeah, next time you have to do an order, check out Newbie Drone's website. We seem to like forget about them, and we just think of like RDQ, GetFPV, and PyroDrone. But Newbie Drone, like, you can still get free shipping, you still get points on their website, and they have a phenomenal selection of stuff. And I have an affiliate link, so make sure you hit that before you check out. But yeah, huge shout out to Newbie Drone. They've been really good to me, and a lot of new pilots, and yeah, just a great company. I really hope to get over to get out to California at some point. And I've got an open invite from Kelvin. Kelvin offered to put me up in a hotel if I can manage to get myself out near them, so I can come visit their shop, which is just that's so generous. So yeah, man, Newbie Drone it's you know, we think of like the big 3. Realistically, with the selection that they have on their website, it's the big 4. Like, Newbie Drone is one of we should not be saying the big 3 anymore, and I'm guilty of it. It should be the big 4: RDQ, GetFPV, Newbie Drone, PyroDrone. So yeah, show them some love. Hit my affiliate link if you don't mind, and yeah, if you're on Crossfire, I will say this, right? Like, if you're on Crossfire, get this rig. And there's like a full-blown upgrade path for this, right? Like, the Express ELRS Acro Bee BLV4, there's a live stream where we put this into a Meteor 65 frame to save even more weight. And we did BT 2.0, and then we put it onto 0702 30,000 kV, I want to say, motors, and it fucking ripped, yo. If you go to my page and click the little magnifying glass on my page, you can search for BLV4. I've got a whole bunch of live streams dedicated to the BLV4, and there's like a part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 3 is like fully upgrading this thing, and this BLV4 AIO rips when it's in a light frame with light motors, bi-blades, BT 2.0. So if you're on Crossfire and you do not have a Cinewhoop, this is it. You can't get the AIO yet, but these motors are a really good starting point. So I would not hesitate to just buy this bind and fly, and then, you know, as you fly it more and more and more, you might want to go down the road that I went with for the full tilt upgrade path. But right out of the box, man, this is not bad at all. I would go to BT 2.0 as soon as possible. That's going to have the biggest impact on flight performance. And then, yeah, you'll dig the way that it flies. On BT 2.0 for sure. Even it's not bad. Cranked up to 100% with PH 2.0. I'm pretty impressed. So, but yeah, BT 2.0 for life, yo. Thanks for tuning in, friends. I love every single one of you. CiottiFPV.com to support me. And I'll see you guys. Well, I am gonna stream Wednesday of this week. It might be a short stream because I fly out Thursday. So, but Friday of this week, I'll be in Miami Beach. Sunday, I'll also be in Miami Beach. So, after the Wednesday stream, you're not going to see me until Monday. So, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And, that pretty much allows you to do whatever you want. So, thanks for hanging. Love you guys. Support your boy, and I'll keep going forever. I got to play something. What am I going to play? I'll play another raw flight from Los Cabos for you. This should be at the hotel. Nope, that's still on the boat. Where's the hotel battery? Come on, hotel battery, where you at? Nope. Did I fly this many batteries off that boat? That's crazy. Here's a hotel battery for you. All right, friends, be good. Hopeful and dreamy beats. Cool. Sounds good. Later, friends. Oh, come on. Please work. You just worked a second ago. There it is. Later. No, I hate this song. Hold on. I hate this song. This one should be better.